It's a lovely day to be in the lakes today. We've got some milky sunshine, about 25 degrees, and I'll take this every day of the week for the middle of September, thank you very much. Welcome to Riders Diaries, everyone. I'm just going to do a quick video taking the bike out for a little shakedown. It's got a bit of a journey coming up, not only to Dorset for the Jurassic Run, but I've got every intention of taking this into Europe afterwards and having a quick soiree around the French Pyrenees. So this is where we're at. Saturday morning I'm going to be heading off down to Dorset, catch up with all my fellow like-minded idiots at the Jurassic Run. Now, for those who don't know, this is from the Del Boys Garage channel, and we've got our own little forum called the Idiot Collective, and every year we do this one Beano where we all try and get together. We come from, I won't say all corners of the globe, but we're coming from far and wide, and we all meet up and we talk nonsense, we go out for a ride and we look at each other's bikes and generally have a very amiable time. So that's what's happened on Saturday. Now it's about 320 miles from me down to Dorset, and then there's going to be something like another 1500 miles going around France, and of course I've got to get back up to Cumbria. So we give the bike a quick once over, we do all the coolant levels, check and top up, we do the oil levels, check and top up, tyre pressures, tyre tread, because no good going around Europe with a tyre on its wear limit. It's got to have the tread to do the job. Same for the brake pads, no good having brake pads that are near the wear limit. French Pyrenees passes are no place to find out you've got no brake pad material left. Look at that, fucking hell. Why do I need to go there at all, eh? Well, I need to go there because of the other 11 months of the year, but there you are. Yeah, so, yep, tyres good, brakes good, fluids are good. And we just make sure the bike's tip top. The only thing I've got, the only query I've got is this gear selector. After all these years and all these miles, it's getting a little bit sloppy. And I've tried to pin it, it's made a difference. It's not as good as it can be, but it's adequate, it will do the job. And if it doesn't, I'll just leave this in 4th gear and just run up and down the rev range. It's got enough torque to do it. Other modifications, well, the 12 volt accessory socket I did a couple of years ago, that's well known. This thing is called an MRV Sport Spoiler, and it's just basically a flip screen. Take the breeze over the top of my head rather than hitting me in the chin. And then finally, I've got my hot grips fitted. I mean, more because I just needed new grips. My ones are literally worn smooth. But I've got to get new grips, and I might as well get hot grips. And I found a particularly good bargain on eBay. They were like £26, and it's one of these intelligent ones, so if I forget to turn it off, which I'm prone to doing, then it's going to turn itself off for me. And that took a couple of hours to fit. The actual fitting of it's not a problem. It's the first time I've ever got a wiring diagram right in my life. But more the preparation, making sure everything fits on properly. I didn't get the throttle grip exactly how I would have liked it. You get given a tube of super glue, you super glue it in place, and super glue gives you about 8 seconds of wiggle room, and that's your lot. And I got it on and I thought, not quite right, tried to move it, it's not budging, so fine, it's where it is now. I'm sure WD-40 could sort that out, but too early in the day. So it's Tuesday now, I'm out for a quick run. I'm working Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'm off down to Dorset on the Saturday, and I hope to see all my fellow like-minded idiots down there. It'd be great to put some names to faces. So that's just a quick one. Take care everyone, speak to you all soon, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Right, there we go. Welcome back everyone. I'm just going to do a quick rundown of all the equipment I take with me when I go onto a tour. Now, I did a video a couple of years ago about all the essentials you need to take, about all the paperwork, about the MOT and insurance and of course your passport. But I didn't really cover the equipment in any kind of depth. So I thought I'd do that this time. And what I've got here is a smorgasbord of equipment that I'm going to take with me. Now these are what I really regard as the essentials. Now if I'm going to be camping, the things I'm going to need are tent, mat, sleeping bag, a pillow, which is it's become essential now, is a pillow. A rolled up fleece doesn't do it anymore. And if I'm really going to be camping, then it's going to be pots and pans and a stove and maybe some food. So we'll start with the tent first. And the tent I really looked into for months and months and months. I've been on the bike forums, and it seemed to me that the sort of tent that people like to use were the 3-arch tents. This kind of gives 2 arches for a sleeping area, and the 3rd arch would give an extra area as a porch or cooking area, or even just a place to hang out. And there are plenty of makes out there. Van Gogh do some very good tents at very good prices. You can go for the North Face if you've really got the money, or Robins, anything like this. I've gone for Coleman, and Coleman do something called the Caucasus 200. Now 200 denotes it's a 2-man tent, but it's a 2-man tent with a porch area. So if you really had a push, you could sleep 3 people in it. Really, I want a 2-man tent for comfort, and I want the porch area for the cooking, and enough space for all the equipment. So that's what I've gone for, a 2-man tent. This one came in at just under £100. Now, when I'm looking for kit, I'm looking for space, weight, performance, price. This is what it all boils down to. I want to get the lightest piece of equipment for the best price. It gives the best performance, that packs up as small as possible. It's a tough mix. It doesn't come around quite so often. But I ended up with this tent. It comes in at just over 3 kilos, which is plenty light enough. Aluminium pole. It's got a Gothic arch. What a Gothic arch means is it comes to a point at the top before it goes into its regular arch, and that gives you just a little bit more headroom, which I thought would be mildly preferable. Normal nonsense, 5,000 metre head ripstop vinyl, ripstop nylon. It's a good tent. I've used it a couple of times now. I'll be taking it around with me. We'll put it up in a second and we'll have a look inside it. Next up is going to be a bag. Now with your bag you can do all sorts of different things with it. You can go for a full 4-season bag if you're really that kind of adventurous. Personally, I'm going to be touring on the bike or out in the fells in nothing more than a 2/3-season bag. I enjoy it, but I don't want to be uncomfortable doing it. So I've ended up with a 3-season bag. It's from Van Gogh. It's called Ultralight 900. It's comfort rating. Now you'll see this quite a lot. You'll see comfort rating on the bag and extreme rating. Ignore this extreme rating. All you're really worried about is the comfort rating. This is basically how comfortable you're going to be in the bag at a certain temperature. And this bag's rated down to 0 degrees. Now, I don't imagine for a second that I'm going to be camping out in 0 degrees. But I said that last year. And it so happened that when I was camping in Fort William, in the Scottish Highlands, it got down to, I don't know what the minus figures were, but there was ice on the bike. So I was kind of glad for having it and for everything I took with me at the time, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But for the time being, Van Gogh Ultralight 900. It weighs in at about 1,200 grams, about a kilo and a bit, and it packs down nice and small. It's in a custom compression sack, and I reckon I can get this down a little bit more to get it into my towel bag, and I'll explain what's going in there a little later. Now, mats. You can do mats in all sorts of different ways. You can do the foam rollered mats, which I think are too big and bulky, to be perfectly honest. You can do these self-inflating mats, which are very good, but they're too expensive. Or you can do the inflatable ribbed mat, which is what I've got here. Now, this is by a company called Exped. Don't know if you can see that. And that's a Swiss company. And being Swiss, naturally, it does the job, and it does the job well. So what we've got is a UL7. That basically means it's an ultralight 7cm thick mat, and that's going to be what I need. I'm a skinny guy, I'm all elbows and shins and bones, and I will push my body weight through anything less than this in no time at all. And it just won't support my weight. So I've gone for a 7cm UL7 mat. It's also ultralight, so it comes in at about, I wouldn't even say more than half a kilo, to be perfectly honest. And it comes with a comfort weight rating. This is similar to the bag. Nowadays you're getting mats that have got comfort ratings, and this one is comfort rating at 3.3. Now, I've got no idea what 3.3 means, but if you could imagine that 0 was nothing, they go up to about 4.5. So this is going to insulate me from the ground, and that's going to allow the bag to work. If the ground is cold and that comes through your body, the body weight being compressed onto the fibres in the bag into the cold ground, that's not going to work. So you want a good bag, and this is going to do the job for me. Now, they come with these strange sort of inflation devices. It's not the regular like lilo rubber teat that you blow into. It's got a strange larger teat, and I'll show you on this one, because this is my pillow. Now, on here you have an adapter, and that adapter plugs into the female outlet on this. So this is a self-inflating pillow, but when you use it like this, you can use it as a pump. See that? That's like me first thing in the morning when I was about 17. You can plug this end into your mat, and then this pillow starts to be used as a pump. And then when you finish pumping it up with the pillow, you just close this off, close that off, and there you go. That's your pillow. I never really saw the importance of pillows until the last couple of years. And I noticed that I was waking up in the mornings from camping trips with quick necks, and that doesn't help you enjoy the rest of your day, frankly. I want a good night's sleep, and to have that, it seems to me that a pillow is part and parcel. We just roll this one up. Take that out, and that's going to go back in here. So I've got my tent, I've got my sleeping bag, and I've got my sleeping mat and a pillow. And those are the essentials. That's all you really need to go camping. You know, you can buy food at a kiosk or a restaurant that's going to be on site. If you haven't got food available, then that's where this comes in. Yeah, I've had this for about 10 years now. And it's just a very regular pots and pans set. But just to give you an idea of what I take with me. Believe it or not, washing up liquid. My trusty little gas stove. I first bought this when I was touring through the States, and I've had it ever since. And it's electric ignition, and that's my gas stove, and that will do a fine job on something about the size of this. You've got various spices and salt and pepper, scour pad. This is just to extend the base of that so it doesn't fall over, because if it balances on its own it's okay here, but when you put this on top and suddenly it's top heavy, so you want something to combat that, and this works an absolute treat. It's very simple. You just chuck it into there. You can get them in camp store. It'll cost you about 99p. It's worthwhile. And I've got 2 pots and a saucepan. Oops, no, that's my frying pan. I've got 2 saucepans here, and I very rarely use all of those items, but they pack up so small that it would be silly not to take them all. So that's what I'm going to do. All of that goes back into here. And I only take a small canister of gas. Historically, I've never used the pots and pans a great deal, but I'd rather have it than need it. And it takes up no room, and it fits in there nicely. And that can all go back in there. There we go. And this can go back, he says. Just like that. So, pots, pans, frying pan, gas stove, gas, cleaning gear, couple of spices. In here, freeze-dried food. So pastas, oatmeals, coffee. All you want these for is just to get you through out of a spot. More than likely, you'll probably end up eating at a restaurant, or eating with friends, or eating someone else's food. But if you're in a real spot and you need your own stuff, that's where it is. This is a piece of nonsense, really. I got this on eBay from China, and all it is an aluminium shield for the stove. Now, an awful lot of your heat is going to get lost unless you've got something like this to go around it, and this is going to keep your heat in, and it's going to make that little stove go a little bit further. There we are, and that can go there. So what are these things? Well, this is a silk sleep sheet. I don't really need it, but again, for the size and weight, I'll be happy to have it if I do. A silk sleep sheet is basically a sleeping bag liner, but being silk, it's one of the best reflectors of heat you can find. It's going to keep, and it's going to put another season on your bag. So if it does really creep down at night, and you've got a clear evening, and it goes into minus figures, this is going to help you out. And for the same reason I carry a survival blanket. I won't need it, I hope I don't need it, but if I've got it, it's there. For its size and weight, no good leaving it at home. And then finally, I've got another one of these inflatable products with, I won't bother getting it out. Basically it's an inflatable cushion, just something to sit on. So that's all my kit. All of this kit will go in this bag. I've been using Oxford products for a while now. I enjoy them, I think they work well, I think they're well made, and I paid about 30 quid for this bag. And also for the panniers, which is an absolute steal. If you start looking for camping equipment, round about October, November, people have got all their touring out the way, people are not really thinking about keeping hold of it, and I tend to swap seasons around. I go for my performance sleeping bags in summer, and I go for my camping equipment in winter. That's why I got this for £100. I think it's even less than that. I think it's something like 93. And this is where I think the bargains can be found. But as far as camping goes, that's it. That's everything that was going to go into here, and that will sort me out a treat. And this is the stuff that I think I need. The stuff that I don't need, that I'm going to take anyway, is a little tablet, because there's going to be moments when I'm on my own, I just want some entertainment, or I just want access to Wi-Fi, and I'm not one of these people who carries a smartphone, so I'm going to take the tablet with me. A camera, because I like my photography, and my DSLR kit is about 4 kilos all loaded up, and it's too big, and it will fit nicely into a tank bag, but I just don't want to take the tank bag with me. So I ended up with this. This is a Sony HX50. It's a compact travel camera. It gives you full control, so apart from your regular scene modes and automatic modes, you've got aperture, shutter priority, manual priority override, and it's got the most insane amount of zoom. It's like times 30 zoom. For any of you camera techs out there, that's something like 28mm to 704. You'll never use all of it, but it's kind of nice to have it all in one package. And it will record 1080p video, and I'm sure that 3 years ago when this came out, it was worth the 300 quid, but I paid 80 for this, and that was worth having, I thought. Low pro kit, I won't put my cameras in anything else. So, that's my camping equipment breakdown, and what we'll do is we'll have a little look at the bike and see what we've got on that. Right, so I'm sure you all know this by now. This is the VFR, and it's got Oxford equipment on the back again. And like I say, I'm a fan of the Oxford equipment. These panniers, they're not too wide, but they hold plenty of gear inside. Now when I put my stuff inside here, I generally put it all into plastic bags, and then when I'm unloading and loading back up, it's much easier to get all my stuff in and out of the bags. And if it rains, then, you know, it's got that extra waterproofing layer. As for the bike itself, it's going to have a sat-nav. Sat-nav sits there, and it's a very generic sat-nav box. It's got an awful lot of room in there, which is why you've got the piece of sponge inside. The sponge makes sure that the sat-nav is pushed up against this clear perspex screen, because if it doesn't, you start getting reflections, it starts getting a bit waving. Unfortunately, I can't hear the sat-nav. I've only got to rely on the instructions from the screen. So if that screen's got sun haze on it, then that's no good to me. Other than that, Oxford grips you've seen fitted. That's a 12 volt accessory socket. And that's pretty much as it is. The sports spoiler, this upright screen at the front, I've had that for a couple of years now, and it seems to make a lot of sense. Yeah, I'd rather have it than not. After 6 or 7 hours in the saddle of just being battered by the wind, I'm really quite grateful for that. So there you go, that's everything. And that's my lot. So hopefully I hope this helped a little. Other than that, I'm going to see you all at Jurassic. After that, I'm off to France. Take care everyone, I'll see you all soon.